Hello, everybody. This is Paul Pun. I'm super excited to have you on board. We've done some awesome new updates to CloneVoiceAI. So let me jump in and share my screen with you without any further delay here and kind of explain to you some of the cool things that we've done. Actually, let me actually work on this way so you can zoom in and see some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today. All right. So first of all, basically, when it comes to cloning of a voice, right, there's many components to it. Many things go behind the scenes. So we'll talk about those things as well as we go along. But what I kind of wanted to mention here real quick, specifically for you, and I see I have Yash here as well. We'll talk about some questions and stuff that you have as well as we go along. Now, the coolest thing that we always talk about when it comes to cloning a voice and stuff like that is what is the use case, right? And how do we make it as good as possible, quality wise, generation wise, and all that. So fundamentally for voices, there's a lot of components that go behind the scenes, right? So for example, we go into the application right now, okay? Like you go in and you clone your voice, right? You give it, for example, something as simple as like you recording with your microphone and you're just trepidating a little bit because, oh, wow, the countdown is 3, 2, 1, right? And now this voice cloning started, and you start saying, and stuff. Now your voice tonality changed, correct? As you're recording. As opposed to if you upload a file, now you have more time to play around with things. Now you have more time to kind of do a better quality output. Maybe you cut out some pauses you had in the middle, editing of the audio. The result could be completely different. It's the same voice. The result is completely different, correct? And this also applies if you're trying to do it in different languages and all that kind of stuff, right? And also now that you've done that, now you want to do dubbing, right? So when you go to create audio and then you want to do original language and then you want to dub it into something else, because the original audio was slightly different in timbre and stuff, it kind of changes that as well, correct? So what we've done is we created a brand new feature called Boost Similarity, okay, which basically no matter what you do, it sounds exactly like you, okay? One of the things, I'll get to that in just a second, how we've done this, how we've streamlined this for you, how we made this as good as possible and stuff like that. And this basically it automatically applied as well in some scenarios, okay? In some cases and stuff like that, which I'll get to as well. So don't hesitate to post your questions and stuff as we go along as well. I want to make it as interactive as possible because this is a major feature, okay? So I do see like, for example, I see greetings from Sweden. I see all these points being posted right here, right? So we'll get to that as we go along as well in this live stream as well. I'll be going in and checking as many questions as possible. Now, one of the things is that we've done, and I'll get to each and every single one of them step by step, okay? No worries there. So first things first that we've done is if you go into, for example, let's say for example, audiobooks, right? So you see these 3 dots on the top. So we've brought the audiobooks feature in as promised. So we're going to create audiobook, and now you can choose a voice and you can start creating an audiobook, right? So the cool thing with audiobook in particular is it can do up to 30,000 characters at once, which is, I believe, long time, many minutes, right? So it depends on, again, the speed of the clone voice and all that kind of stuff. So super powerful thing. You can now use it. Click on 3 dots. You can start using the audiobooks. Is right there. You can select the voice and stuff like that. Okay. Now, the other thing we've done is with podcast feature, okay, which I'll get to. I'll show you some demos and stuff like that as well. So again, you go into my podcast section under these 3 dots, okay? You go into my podcast. So again, same thing. So you go into my podcast and create new podcast. What we've done, okay, another cool thing that we've done is now you can do up to 4 speakers. First of all, you see this? Before you could only do 2, right? Now you can do up to 4 speakers. Okay, speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3, speaker 4. You see how it says speaker 3 is optional and speaker 4 is optional? So there's a reason for that, right? Obviously, with a podcast, you need at least 2 people, right? How can you create like 1 person speaking and call it a podcast, right? And then we've also added in a multilingual podcast, okay? So we're adding more and more languages for this one. I'll show you some demos and stuff, pretty awesome. So we're adding a multilingual podcast as well, like what you see here. You can add in different languages and stuff like that as well. Okay, so if you speak that language and you want to make sure that you do it, you can do so. Now, with podcasts, we've basically, you see, when I went back and I showed you the similarity engine, right? Like, let's say, for example, create audio. I'll show you some examples where you see this boost similarity. If you see for podcasts, we don't even have that feature, right? Why? Well, the podcast system, we've developed an algorithm from the ground up. Okay. So the algorithm that we developed is unique to podcast. Okay. So that means, in other words, you don't have to worry about similarity. You don't even have to worry about any toggles. You don't have to worry about any kind of mumbo jumbo stuff. It'll sound like you, and the other speakers you add in, it'll sound like them. Okay. And the other beautiful part is, not only multilingual podcast, like if you go into speech here, we've streamlined the system voices for different languages, of course. The other thing we've done is you can now do cloned voices for podcast, designed voices, and also public library voices. Okay. Before, for podcasts, you could only do cloned or system voices, right? So that means, for example, you can pick, as an example, you can go and you can say, I want, let's say, for example, Paul speaking with designed professional, an angry old pirate speaking with, okay, on a podcast, speaking with, let's go to public library, Trickster Fox, and speaking with, let's say, let's gobbling warlord or sports play-by-play announcer. You see my point, right? You can play around with creatively and make really cool, examples and speakers this way, which is going to be really cool in terms of the output and the quality and all these other cool things. So that also, by the way, we've done some tests and we're keeping on up to speed with that, is that you can even do that in multilingual. I'll show you some examples of it as well, because for the examples, what I have to do is I have to play it from my speakers from your to the microphone. So it may not be as good quality as if you do it yourself. So this is one, right? So we've completely streamlined this aspect fully. Okay. So for example, now you can go into in Spanish, for example. Okay. You can go to voice. Okay, you can go into designed voices and you can have the angry pirate speak Spanish, for example. You can go to system. You can have any one of these people speak in Spanish, for example, automatically, right? And public library, again, you can use any one of these public library ones and speak that language, all right? Or alternatively, if you want to clone a voice, to make sure that the quality of the actual accent is perfect as possible. And if you're a speaker who can speak that language, what we tell you to do is go to Clone Voice, choose Instant. And then what you do is you just choose the language here. And let's say you have Spanish as the accent. You would then just basically do it this way. Okay, you just basically speak the language, or you can and effectively upload the file in that language for the best quality, because if you're a native speaker, obviously you want to make sure you sound as good as possible. Or you can even do dubbing. Dubbing works like this. You can go into, when we've optimized the dubbing as well, you go to create audio. Okay, what you do is you go to original language, all right, and then what language you want to translate to, okay, and you go to Spanish. And then you can select a voice. So let's say, for example, my clone voices is this Paul realistic. I don't know, whatever the voice might be, correct? And then now you can have my English version of my voice speak in Spanish. I just want to let you know, though, you will never be as perfect as me natively speaking in that language, because there's nuances, right? Accents, and Argentinian Spanish is different from Mexican Spanish, is different from whatever, which will be grasped if you speak in that accent, right? As opposed to me in English, I don't have all the details in what type of accent to put. So it'll probably pick one of the generic Spanish accents, like a Mexican Spanish accent or something like that. So you'll when you'll see it, you'll probably get the idea. Okay, so that's the other aspect of it that we've done as well. So in other words, to simplify this thing, so let me kind of summarize this whole thing for you, so that you can get an understanding of this whole process here, is that let's kind of step by step mark it down here. So first of all, we've done basically multilingual podcasts, right? We've done that. We've done multilingual podcasts. Second, we've done is better dubbing, right? In many supported languages. So it's much better now. Okay. And on top of that as well, what we've done is we've added audiobooks. Okay. Now you can do longer length. And we've also done podcasts with 4 speakers. Okay. And I'll show you some demos in just a sec. Okay. So you can kind of see it. And we've also 4 speakers podcast, by the way, to make it more natural. Uh, and we've also, by the way, okay, made sure that for these, you can also use the creative voices, right? Whether the prompt to voice that you picked from Clone Voice or the one you created from a prompt, or you can even use, let's say, the angry tech trickster or the friendly giant or the newscaster or whatever. You can use those creative voices now to be able to generate multilingual podcasts as well. Okay, so creative voices are available in the podcasts as well. Okay. So that means now you have the capability, like you can speak with other people, because let's say you only have one voice to clone. I mean, it matters, right? It makes a lot of difference for you in that particular sense. Okay. Now, I know, showing you is better than speaking about it. So we will show you some demos and I'll kind of get through it and show you some real time demos and stuff like that. But so let me know in the chat box, excited so far, like, we're hearing your feedback and you're adding all these features in. The next major update, Yash will be talking about in just a sec as well, while we do that, which is going to be the create music. We're making some massive adjustments the next 48 hours or so. We'll be announcing that next update for that one. Basically, it's just insanely good as well. And by the way, just again, let me bring, well, sorry. Let me bring myself into the screen right now. What I kind of wanted to mention as well, real quick, while we are at it, is I just want to mention, just understand, guys, okay? The main idea, right, when we're trying to build applications and stuff like that is you want to get the basics correct, right? When you get the basics correct, then when you're trying to build the more advanced things, the foundation is strong, right? So what we did when we initially launched CloneVoice is, of course, we have our own internal team, correct? And a lot of our team members can speak different languages and stuff like that. And we've tested it across those people. And then they might speak maybe 6 or 7 languages are covered there. And we got feedback from them. So as an example, let's say Spanish, right? We might have somebody from Mexico in our team. We have somebody from, say, for example, Spain, right? So Mexico and Spain Spanish is one accent. Now you add extra elements into the mix. Well, the extra elements now add up, correct? Those extra elements, let's say, for example, like Argentinian, Chilean Spanish, let's say, or Bolivian, Peruvian Spanish, different modalities now, which we will get feedback from you, correct? Because we don't have people all over the world, every single aspect of it. So I really want to thank, okay, all our basically folks, okay, who have volunteered. Okay, we've got, I believe, almost 30 people, okay, from around different languages, different accents, and other places who volunteered to tell us, hey, Paul, I want to test stuff. Please send me different algorithms your machine learning folks and your engineers are doing. Can you please, let me know? And they've volunteered, and of course, they're gonna get merch and swag and stuff like that for the time while they're testing and stuff. Which, if you are one of those people, let us know as well. Please email our support team saying you want to be a volunteer for your language. If you haven't already picked, so that's the email that you see there. Please do volunteer. Appreciate it. We'll make it worth your time, of course, for the time you're spending. All we'll do is, look, behind the scenes, when we do these voice cloning algorithms, we have to do multiple tests, correct? That's how AI has to work. So we'll send you 5 of our experiments. You tell us which 5 are good. Then what we will do is we'll spend more time to fine tune things and optimize into those one of those 5. And then that will benefit everybody, right? Because now we know, okay, this accent is Argentinian, this accent is Peruvian or whatever. Or in the case of Italian, same thing. In the case of Arabic, there's Arabic from Saudi Arabia, there's Arabic from Egypt. There's so many different accents, right? And different types of accents as well there. So we are trying to get as much information, and the community of you folks giving us feedback is really, really helping us a lot, okay? Just want to make sure that I mention this, okay? Because when I show you the demos, this is all the effort of users like you, okay, who've gone out of your way to help us out, who've gone out of your way to actually give us feedback and help us out, right? And that's the reason why I'm so excited to be able to help you folks and be able to do as much of our application as possible, right? And so let me actually show you one of the examples that I kind of wanted to show you. Just came from your feedback as well in terms of languages, in terms of accents and stuff like that, okay? So let me actually pull that up real quick. So for example, and because not everybody is that great in terms of like languages, not everybody is that great in terms of like different text elements and stuff like that, right? So that's what we did. Okay, so let me actually pull this up right here. Okay, so what I did, okay, is I just went into ChatGPT and I said, hey, I need you to write a perfect Colombian Spanish system prompt for 4 speakers, Paul, Yash, Carolina, and Jorge, having a conversation on the future of AI and how it will change the world. Paul is extremely optimistic about AI. Yash is moderately optimistic. Carolina is moderately pessimistic, and Jorge is extremely pessimistic, right? Then I said, translate this into this. So let's say, for example, it said, right, okay, this is the prompt and they're having a conversation and all that, right? And this is the actual prompt that it's given me, right? And then what you do, I just copied this. So basically it's written in Spanish, right? And then what I did is if I want to create a podcast in Spanish, which is pretty cool, right? We are one of the only ones who've done this feature, is I'll go into CloneVoice, for example, and then I will go into the podcast feature, create new podcast, all right? Then I can do it in Spanish, right? Go into Spanish, and then I can just select any one of these, right? System prompts, right? And I can do, so let's say clone voices, system voices and stuff. So in the clone voice, what I did is I cloned my own voice, correct? So let me show you that example right now. So it's probably in this section right here. So I'll do that right now in this account of mine. I've done it. So let you see this right here. El poder del IA, el futuro de la mente, whatever, right? So there's the Spanish speakers and it's the same in whatever language. Go to Spanish. Let's go here. So what all I did is I went to select mode, all right? I went to this and I went to cloned, and this is my Paul speaking Spanish voice, natural. My Spanish is not perfect, but like there. And then I'll do speaker 2. Speaker 2 could be Aurora or anybody of the system voices. Speaker 3 could be one of the designed voices, right? News reporter, angry pirate, or whoever. Can be speaker 3, and speaker 4 can be, say, public library, motivational speaker, blacksmith, breaking news act. And if one of them is not good accent, because sometimes it picks up the accent like British English or whatever, it's fine. Don't worry too much. So I'll just go ahead and paste this whole thing, whatever ChatGPT, and it's a free account can do it as well if you don't speak that language. If you can speak that language, even better. So I'll just do Paul, speaker 1, Yash, speaker 2. Oh, angry pirate. I mean, we don't want Carolina, so we'll just say teenage female fairy is Carolina, the female. Breaking news anchor is going to be Jorge, let's say, okay? And then we'll just click create new podcast. It'll start doing its thing, okay? As an example, all right? So let me show you the end result. Just give me 1 sec here while that whole thing does its thing. So it's going to take a few seconds. So what's doing behind the scenes now is, okay, you could have a multilingual podcast created, okay, and have that perfectly created. The back and forth banter is created and it looks natural. The transitions are created. Now you see I did make a typo here. I spelled Yash's name wrong. I can edit that too, by the way, right? And I can redo the whole thing and it will basically do the whole thing correctly as well, correct? So you see this, I can go at any time and change the speaker. I can go back and change elements. You see it's spoken this in Spanish as an example, right? You can change around the speakers in these tabs, but let me go fix it, right? Like I kind of made a mess of speakers. So I'm going to typo. There was a typo here. I'll just change to Yash. Then I'll generate again. So you can do these things as well. You can make modifications across the board. And then now it's going to start generating this as well on the fly like so. So the idea is that if you're a native speaker and you want to create native podcasts in that language of you speaking, and it sounds like, I'll show you some demos in just like a second, but it'll allow you to be able to effectively generate it with any of these creative voices as well that you created, all right? And if the accent is off, you can just change the speaker, all right? Sometimes, you want to focus on the accent as an example, right? So anyway, that's the point that I'm trying to make here, all right? pretty cool, right? Do you agree with me on this? Like, pretty cool, right? So let me know in the chat box. Is that pretty cool or what, right? So that means it generates it on the fly. And let me actually show you something cool as well while I'm doing this as an example. 1 second here. All right. So, all right. So you understand what I'm saying, right? It generated me this whole thing, que tema amigos and all that. I'll show you the demo of one of them that will get created. So I'll just generate this podcast. All right. So now you see, even though I don't exactly speak perfectly, I can just speak that or whatever in that language and it'll basically create that as well. Now for the cloned voices, we suggest please record it in your original language if you can speak it. If you want it in dubbing, we recommend just do the dubbing like so here, all right? And then you can always use this dubbing voice that you generate as the clone voice, because sometimes what happens is the native nuances are missed if it's English to Spanish, right? It won't sound like. I'll show you an example of that as well as we go along, all right? Now, let me ask you a question in the chat box, okay? One of the biggest complaints slash comments slash whatever I hear you, right, is, okay, this is the question, right? Paul, you know, CloneVoice.ai, which you can get right now. How much does this thing cost? I mean, because we increased the price, right? So let's just go to CloneVoice.ai, see what's the price right now, because we're doing a major update soon. For those who didn't get CloneVoice, right? I'm just saying, all right? So if you scroll down here, what is the price right now? All right, it's 147. It's increasing next. I think we're going to remove this coupon completely once that countdown ends. Anyway, it's 147, right? Now you go into a platform like 11 Labs, let's say, right? Let's even go 11 Labs. I keep mentioning this, but those who are asking me, right? So if you do basically the creator plan, which comes to like 100 minutes only, which is like an hour and a half, right? So $99 a month is basically about 500 minutes. It's less than 10 minutes a month. And then $330 a month is 2,000 minutes, right? That comes to about 8 hours per month or so, okay? 8 to 9 hours, whatever. Now, when I show this, people are like, well, and fair enough. Hey, all criticism is fair criticism. It's like, well, you're the cheaper version of 11 Labs. 11 Labs is way better than CloneVoice or whatever, because they're a big company, so-called big company. Big company will have more resources. Therefore, you know, you'll never be able to be as good as it. Some people even say, hey, let's put it out there. Hey, you know, this CloneVoice is so cheap that it's like the Temu version of the iPhone. Let's say iPhone is the higher level. This one is lower quality. So let me put the actual points to the test. Okay, do you want me to right now? Because I will log in to 11 Labs. I will log in to actually CloneVoice.ai, right? I'll show you the boost similarity. I will show you the podcast like for like. Okay, example of results made from 11 Labs, the most premium account, not the free account, and results made with CloneVoice.ai. All right, you want to see it? Because what I want to be is as transparent as possible, okay? Because here's the result, right? Even if, let's put it this way, a company that's been in the business for over 3 years, 4 years, whatever, just focusing on voice cloning and voice generation, which is 11 Labs, have to give them props for it. A company like us, right, created CloneVoice, which launched just about whatever, like a few days ago, right now. So not that long ago. How can you compare? Like, even if it's equal or even if you're slightly lower, I would say it's a win, correct? With the pricing that we provide, with the value we provide, the updates we provide, the training that we provide, hearing your feedback and stuff. So if it can even do that much, it's a win, I would say. But maybe some people say, no, I want it to be even better than 11 Labs or equivalent. So let's put it to the test, right? So let me actually show you right now. Let me actually do a live demo right now of it, and hopefully the audio you can hear okay, all right, for the actual demonstration, because I want to put the point right now so you can see it live in real time. Okay, that's right. So let's go do this. Let's do it right now. All right. However it comes down, let's take the brunt of this criticism if we get it right. So let me do that right now. Let me share my screen. Do let me know though if you cannot hear the audio well or whatever. Now, I'm going to show you a brand new feature we've just added, which is really revolutionary, called Boost Similarity. It says beta, but it just makes everything perfect, and we're going to keep improving it going forward. What this does is, normally when you try to clone your voice, whether it's in English or another language or whatever the case might be, even in cases of dubbing and that sort of thing, number one biggest issue is that your voice might not sound like you. In other words, pacing. Maybe you speak too fast or slightly slow. Maybe your voice sometimes does not have that type of pitch or tonality as maybe a radio jockey voice, right? And there's all these issues that which can come across where it doesn't sound like you. It sounds like a professional version of you, or it might sound like a boring version of you, whatever the case might be. In my particular case, I'll show you, sometimes my voice sounds like British when you do with other application. I'll show you that example in just a bit. Sometimes it may not exactly sound like me, or whatever the case might be. We've fixed all that with Boost Similarity, and it's in beta, and it'll always keep getting better because we haven't factored in millions of different voices, but with the ones we've tested, it's just the best in the industry, okay? And that also makes this one feature applicable to every single aspect of generating voices and audios and voiceovers within CloneVoice.ai. That means it's the same thing for podcasts. We've implemented the same thing. We've integrated this into many areas within the application, which is going to make it really powerful, sometimes even automated. And so let me show you real time right now, the true power of this one feature with real live examples. I'm going to make this whole test completely transparent. What voices I'm cloning, what is the end result, multilingual, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so first things first, let me show you this audio that of mine that I'm cloning. Because see, sometimes, I try to speak slowly. Sometimes I'm speaking like I'm doing a tutorial. Sometimes I'm more excited like I am right now, where I'm trying to just show you my excitement. That's a little bit different tonality, right? So in this particular case, let me show you the actual original audio so you understand how it sounds like. Then what I'll show you is how does the clone voice sound like within clone voice, and how does a podcast sound like, and that sort of thing. So first things, this is the voice. You see this Paul voice, October 2nd. This is the voice that I've generated. I just named it as such. Let me play it right now.
What if I told you the AI landscape from just last year is already ancient history? It's not an exaggeration. The pace of artificial intelligence is truly mind-blowing. Think about it. Just a few short years ago, AI struggled with basic tasks. Today,
all right, pretty clear, right? So let me actually show you Yash's voice right now. Again, I'm going to play a little bit. This is the other one I'll be cloning, okay?
Yeah, so now the way we look at this problem is like, okay, we first of all drive the conclusion that, okay, one.
All right, so it's basically the title of this is called Yash Voice Perfect, correct? All right, so now what I'm going to do is very straightforward, okay? I will go into CloneVoice.ai, okay? We'll go into choose instant. I will upload this file, okay? These files that I'm trying to show you right now. So as you can see here, this is that Paul voice. This is the title of that. So I'll just name it Paul YouTube stream voice. Okay, example, because just so you know, I'm trying to show you this demo right here. So to simplify this, and then I'll put gender and I'll language which one I cloned it, and I'll clone the voice. Okay, so the same one I just showed you, clone. And now it's completed. Now let me do the same thing for Yash's voice. Okay, the one I played earlier. All right. All right. So in this particular case, Yash voice perfect.mp3. So again, we're starting from scratch. So I'm just going to say Yash YouTube stream demo. Okay. Or whatever it can be named, right? So then I have permission to use Yash's voice. I'll clone it. Cool. So you have Yash YouTube stream demo, Paul YouTube stream voice. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my podcasts, okay, create new podcast, okay, and you can do up to 4 speakers, by the way, but bare minimum, you need 2 speakers, okay? So select voice. I'm going to say, again, right here, I'm going to go into system and I'm going to go to clone because I clone these voices, correct? So you see here, Paul YouTube voice, it just says right here. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to select this voice. There we go. And then I'm going to do speaker 2. Okay, there we go. I'm going to add Yash's voice here. And let me go back into the clone. And then I'm going to add in his voice right here. So I'm going to name me Paul. And I'm going to name him Yash, correct? For example, I'm going to say Paul and Yash are arguing over the future productivity gains from AI. Paul is optimistic and Yash is pessimistic about this. about AI. Okay, let's just do something. This is two voices, and click. I have read and agreed, and then click create podcast. So do that. Start doing its thing right now. Cool. It's generated it as you can see here. Podcast preview. It has Paul. All right. Yes. Let's dive in right in. So now I'm just going to copy this. I'll tell you why I'm copying this for later. All right. So I'll copy this right now. I just paste it into a notepad. Okay. Like, so nothing really fancy. I'll just also, I'll paste Yash's as well. You see, whoa, Paul, hold on to your horses there. And then I will paste this as well. Okay. This was basically Yash's text that the AI generated. Okay. And this is for comparison purposes. I wanted to show you. All right. So now we'll just generate this podcast. Okay. It's going to do its thing. It's doing its thing. So we start generating. Now, while it's generating, let me go to 11 Labs, which is basically the #1 voice cloning platform in the world. A lot of our customers compare it to 11 Labs. So I wanted to kind of show you a real life example of how you can basically use cloning of 11 Labs to create stuff. Okay. So basically 11 Labs has something called a studio here. So let's just go in and click on the studio, and then you have something called voices as well. Okay. And this is, I'm just doing this as comparison. Again, just be transparent. Maybe I don't go into all the settings. So if you folks know, maybe let me know. Again, I'm just trying to compare against the best company for voice cloning, right? We've been in there for like the last few years. They've been working on it. So in here in 11 Labs, they have something called create and clone voice. Okay. Again, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go instant voice clone. Okay. That's the only option that's available. So let me again go back here. The professional voice clone at this point in time, it says no slots available. It's not available for me. Okay. So I'm just using it, the instant voice clone option, the same one that's available within CloneVoice.ai, correct? So I'll just go in here and I'm going to click on this instant voice clone, and then I'm going to drag and drop each of those voices. So in this particular case, if you remember, Paul voice OCT2 was the one here. It pre-checked remove background noise. So I'm guessing that's good enough. So I'll just click next here, and then it's going to start cloning this voice right now. And you can give it a name and stuff like that. So I'm just going to name it Paul Stream Voice. Okay. Whatever. I'm just naming up something, and then I'll click on the save thing here. Okay. And then you can start generating speech with it, but I'll also do another thing. I'll skip this right now. I'll also do Yash's voice. Again, instant voice. And I'm going to drag and drop Yash voice perfect. Here, if you remember, Yash voice perfect MP3. This one also actually had background audio and stuff too, correct? So click next. And then we can start playing this. It's going to start cloning here and stuff like that. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to say Yash stream voice. Okay. Click save. All right. And I'll skip this. Now, what I wanted to kind of show you here is let's go to their studio here. Okay. Studio. Okay. And then let's go into studio here, and then we'll click on Blind Project. Okay. And just see how these voices sound. Click next. It says audio project here. Let's go there. Again, if there is any better settings, you can let me know. I'm just going by default settings. Okay. Same like how anybody would do it. And then, there we go. And I'm going to say, first will be Paul, stream voice, the one I just added, correct? So I'll just select this one. And then, like, let's say for now, I'll just keep everything default. And then remember I said, I'll do this, script already, Yash thing, whatever that basically that we generated, the AI generated for us. And then let's just click on this play button that will generate this voice. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Let's just do that right now. It's going to take a few seconds. All right. So let's play it right here. How does it feel? How does it sound?
All right, Yash, let's just dive right into it. I mean, everywhere you look, people are talking about AI. And for me, it's not just hype. It's genuinely the biggest productivity booster we've seen since, well, maybe
Now, you can let me know. Does that sound like me? Okay. So, okay, they do have, I believe, override settings here. So let's just try that. So maybe there's a reason why it doesn't sound. So click on that. It has volume, speed, faster, slow, stability, and then similarity. Okay. It boosts your overall voice clarity and similarity. Or so it's 75%. I'll make it 100%. Okay. Fair enough. And then what we will do is we'll just apply this. Select voice it needs to be applied. I'll click on the apply button here. So it's been applied. There's also speaker boost, which I believe it will boost the similarity of the voice. Okay. Now click on again, generate. All right. To be fair, sometimes, when you're playing it on the browser, maybe there's some issues. So I'll go actually to export, and then you see a audio format, whatever. Let's click on export. And then it's going to take a few seconds, I guess, to export. Let's play it in real time just to get an idea. Does it really sound like my voice or whatever it might be? Okay, there we go. The download is available. So let's just download this thing. There we go. Let's play it.
All right, Yash, let's just dive right into it. I mean, everywhere you look, people are talking about AI. And for me, it's not just hype. It's genuinely the biggest productivity booster we've seen since, well, maybe electricity or...
All right. So now, well, sounds a little bit like me, I guess. You'll be the judge. Again, that's up to you to decide. Now, let me do the same thing with Yash. I'll do the same process, and let's just try this out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the voice here, and I'm going to say Yash's voice, which was a Yash stream voice, I guess. This was the one. Again, I will put similarity as default, which in default was 75%. So we'll apply this and we'll just see what the situation is right here. And I'm going to change the script here, okay? So that we can download this as well. All right, and you can compare here. All right, so let's copy this and then right-click the text that Yash will be speaking, I guess, in this case. And then just generate this.
Oh, Paul, hold your horses there. Electricity, the internet. I appreciate your optimism, I really do, but I think you're getting a little carried away. When I look at AI, I see a lot of promise, sure, but also a massive amount of overestimation, especially when it comes to actual...
All right, does that sound like Yash or not? You let me know, all right? Let me do the similarity thing again. So let's override the settings and put similarity equals high, 100%, put everything, all the best settings, click apply, click again, generate, so that we can download it. All right, so it's generated. So let me just export this thing as MP3 file so that we can do like for like comparison, okay? So it's just downloading right now. There we go, there's downloaded. So let's compare right now because my generation is also finished here, as you can see here, the productivity error paradox. Let's compare like for like here, all right? Sentence by sentence. So this was basically without similarity being fully on for 11 laps, by the way, all right? So let me actually play that in right now and you can take a look at it. This is my voice.
Welcome to Future Forward, everyone. Today we're tackling a topic that's not just on the horizon, it's already here and reshaping everything, artificial intelligence. And I mean...
Sounds like me, but very Australian, right? Australian type of accent. So now let me show you the high similarity examples of mine and Yash's as well, while I play these two, so you can take a quick look at it. And we'll play one after the other so it's more natural. Okay, this is with similarity at 100%.
All right, Yash, let's just dive right into it. I mean, everywhere you look, people are talking about AI. And for me, it's not just hype. It's genuinely the biggest productivity booster we've seen since, well, maybe electricity or the internet itself.
Now let me play Yash's.
Whoa, Paul, hold your horses there. Electricity, the internet. I appreciate your optimism, I really do, but I think you're getting a little carried away. When I look at AI, I see a lot of promise, sure, but also a massive amount of overestimation, especially when it comes to actual tangible productivity gains across the board. We're talking about real sustained growth, not just fancy demos.
Now let's see CloneVoice's the same thing, right? This was the project we created. I downloaded. Let's see the example. So, real time, what all we've done here and the accent, the modality, the tonality. And this is what we mean by that new high similarity feature. Okay, which is pretty cool. You can be the judge, okay? Even if it's equivalent to 11 laps, I'd say it's a big win, right? Because it's very expensive for platform with the recurring subscriptions and stuff. And it's the best. I've been doing it for more than 3 years now plus, right? And just voice technology alone, which would be a great achievement by our team in that sense.
All right, Yash, let's just dive right into it. I mean, everywhere you look, people are talking about AI. And for me, it's not just hype. It's genuinely the biggest productivity booster we've seen since, well, maybe electricity or the internet itself.
Whoa, Paul, hold your horses there. Electricity? The internet. I appreciate your optimism, I really do, but I think you're getting a little carried away. When I look at I see a lot of promise, sure, but also a massive amount of overestimation, especially when it comes to actual, tangible productivity gains across the board. We're talking about real, sustained growth, not just fancy demos.
You can do the same thing for Spanish. For example, here's one for Spanish that we've done here with my voice on it. Let's see. Again, with the dubbing feature. I'll talk about that as well as we go along. But check this out. Okay, so let me just play this. Chicos, de verdad, no entiendo cómo alguien puede mirar el avance de la inteligencia artificial y no sentir una emoción tremenda. Estamos en el umbral de una revolución que va a transformar cada aspecto de nuestras vidas para bien. Piensen en la medicina, en pretty cool, right? So meaning I can sound with my English clone voice basically that way, with just like a fluent Spanish speaker. Those who understand Spanish, you can understand that, right? And create full podcasts in multilingual as well, which I'll talk about in just a sec. So pretty powerful, right? So now let me go back here, answer some questions and stuff, because I want to show you real time. What's the situation here? What's the comparisons here and stuff like that? Be as transparent as possible so you understand how much effort goes behind the scenes to competing against some of these big companies and provide you the best value possible.
All right. So, like, I'm seeing some questions here, so I'll answer them as well. So, for example, those who can speak Spanish, okay? Tell me, like, what do you think, right? The Spanish accent, pretty good, right? How you can basically get the end result for podcasts and make it more natural and stuff like that. Now, the other thing is like there was another question that came in, which I kind of wanted to answer as well, was like, can we do multilingual speakers in the French language, right? Here, yes, okay. So same concept, right? You go into my podcast, create new podcast, you just check language as French. That's it. Okay, not really that much to be done here. You can do it in French and you can select. The only thing we recommend though, again, because of the reason being of actually making sure that it sounds like you, not like an American accented you or whatever, is the clone voice. If you wanted it in another language, to just clone it in the original language. Even if you're just reading some script, it still sounds more natural in French. Like get ChatGPT or whatever to type in. Like for example, you know how I did it here, where like, you know, I created a script here, like cuatro personas, Paul, Yash, Carolina, Jorge, están teniendo una conversación, you know, whatever. And like even if you mispronounce it, but since it's the words are in Spanish and you clone your voice that way, it'll just be better. Like even in French and stuff, as opposed to like if I speak it in perfect English and then I try to translate it, it might not get the nuances of the accents. Okay, I just want to be sure you understand, because you're trying to do it for commercial purposes like podcasts and stuff. There's only two options, right? Either you'll sound completely not like you, or it's gonna sound like you, but with a lot of like accent issues, you know, that will come across effectively. Does that make sense? Like what I'm trying to say, in a way. So when you're doing it in multilingual, just at least one voice, your voice in the podcast, is in that original language. Or if you don't want to, it's totally fine. You don't want to, then just select one of the system voices here, and then you're good to go as well. Okay? There's no need for you to be stuck into one thing. You can use one of the system voices, use the design voices, the public library voices, whatever. Like you can go in and you can even create an audio, right? Like you can use the creative voice generation, the voice maker, and then you can generate a voice, right, with one of the prompts, like creative voice maker or whatever the case might be. You see what I'm saying? So ultimately, just understand that at the end of the day, it's up to you. The idea is that we want to give you the best outcome, best results for what you're trying to do here, okay? So now I'll be answering some questions as well, and I'll show you a couple other cool things that we've done as well here. But while I'm checking your questions and stuff like that,
that demo was pretty cool, right? Like, I mean, that shows that we're not afraid to compare ourselves from the very best in the industry, whoever it might be, whoever the players are in the game. I mean, at the end of the day, we'll only improve with time. The other thing is that I really, again, I want to stress this, can't stress this enough, the volunteers who've helped us out, right? In multilingual testing and all that stuff. Big, huge thank you to the community here. Some of you might have been here already, spoken to our machine learning engineers and our team to improve things in the application. And that's the power we have, right? If you go into our Facebook groups, I'll open it up real quick here because I don't want to kind of I kind of want to stress this out. So we have our Facebook group community here, multiple communities here, right? One of the crazy things is we post here, like I'll share, this is the group, right? I post here like, hey, we're looking for, like, sometimes I'll just be looking for, and I'll delete it if we get too many, looking for, let's say, for example, Swedish speakers, right? For some testing, let's say, right? I post, and within like 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you get people who are like, who can speak Swedish, right? And we've had Norwegian, we've had Swahili, we had people. And so that means over time, what's going to happen is we're only going to make things better and better as we get our folks to continue, helping us out, right? Which is awesome. I really want to make sure that we reward people. And over time, because of this community feedback, we're going to be the best, even more so. Multilingual, it might be features wise, maybe, and stuff. Because see, what happens, right? When we do a voice, somebody might say something is robotic, but sounds like me. Still not good enough. Somebody might say, hey, it is good, but the pronunciation is off. Like one of the things we noticed with our gentleman, one of our great customers was in German, our algorithm was mispronouncing numbers. Right. So we're like, okay, interesting. We didn't account for that. Right. So what we had to do is we worked with him and a couple other folks, and we said, okay, to do this test, how does this sound? Okay. Does this sound good? Well, it speaks the numbers properly, but the pronunciation looks robotic. Okay, let's go back. Okay, now what? Right. And we've done multiple tests and we perfected it. It took us a couple of days, but worth the effort. Right. So this is what we are doing, and we're going to continue doing this, and it will only be possible for the people in our Facebook group, our community. And of course, every single person who's helping us out with it, we're going to reward you with swag, with gifts, or whatever it may be. It's not about the money. It's about, making something as great as possible with your feedback, right? Another thing is, for example, Brazilian Portuguese versus Portugal Portuguese, right? Very different pronunciations and stuff like that. Because Brazil being in South America has a little bit references to Spanish as well, because it borders Argentina on one side, Chile on one side, right? So Uruguay, Paraguay as well. So you're going to have a mix of accents from these parts for Brazilian Portuguese, where Portuguese is completely different because it's European in nature, right? So now, same thing. We're talking to Brazilian Portuguese folks who can speak Brazilian Portuguese, and we're trying to get feedback and make things better, right? So this means over time, because of your feedback, it's not something where we hire some translator somewhere who never even uses the product, who might say something is good or not good and just do surface level. It's actually people actually going into our application, CloneVoice, and say, look, Paul, like when I go in here and I choose audio, when I uploaded, let's say, a minute file, my result was not good. But when I uploaded 30 seconds, it was great. For example, I'm just making up a scenario. And then I clicked here and I picked Portuguese, let's say here, and it was like Portugal Portuguese. It was not Brazilian. You got to fix it. Let's say that was the scenario. It will allow us to basically account for that and make it simplified for you, right? These are the little things that we are trying to do. Okay, no matter what the application is, no matter what you do, whatever the scenario is, we're trying to make it simplified for you in that direction. Okay, and the Facebook group is perfect for that particular use case, as you can imagine. Right now, I'll bring Yash in as well here. So folks, another cool thing. So Yash, I'm gonna unmute you here, right? So you can unmute yourself. We're gonna be talking about a couple of things here that are coming up in the next 48 hours. Because see, what did I talk about so far? I talked about, right, the audiobook feature, which is open. You can open up, start using it. It's about 30,000 characters and stuff. This will be part of that, that 2 hours plus for you guys around there that you can create with CloneVoice per day, right? Which is a lot more than even the 11 Labs' $300 a month account, for example. Now we've added that in. You can start using it in the application. What else did we talk about? We talked about podcasts. You can create podcasts in multiple languages, in English and all these other supported languages. We're going to keep adding more with our community of testers and volunteers is a better way to say it, who are giving us feedback and stuff like that. You can do 4 speakers. You could do 2 speakers before. Now you can do up to 4. And you saw the demo I did earlier, right? I'm going to post the demo in the tutorials page as well later on, or our group as well. You can give some feedback. You can watch it later. But the point I'm making is this feature right here is the best feature right now when it comes to multilingual and multi-speaker podcasts in the entire industry. I can say that with confidence because the algorithm that we developed is way beyond our voice cloning algorithm here. Okay, it's designed for multi-speaker, so therefore it will be more natural. The transitions will be perfect. Even people were one of the feedbacks I saw were like, when you say give me a topic and the feedback, the generated text It's so good. Like, for example, like I'll show you. So let's say, for example, I go in here and I clone this, right? And I go to the next stage. You see this text? It's so good, so natural. People are like, can I just download this text? I hear you. We're going to look into that, right? Even like I've never seen anything this good. Even ChatGPT doesn't do it this well. Like it separates it well. Like it says Paul, it references that person. Paul references Yash here and stuff like that. So little details, right? So what I'm trying to say is that we've focused on that through your feedback and stuff like that as well. Now, not just that, you can at any time change the speakers, for example, right? And on top of that, you can do the language changing as well. So like, as you can see here in my example, let me go into my audios here. Let's see this. I've done it in Spanish here multiple times and stuff like that. And it looks natural. And because of the ability for you to use any of these public library voices. So you see these voices here, like any one of these 7,000 plus voices in the multilingual podcasts. So in other words, you could have, let me speak it right now so you can understand. You could have a werewolf speaking in Spanish or one of the supported languages, right? Like tons of them. You'd have the werewolf speaking in Spanish and debating with, for example, like let's say a Phoenix Herald, right? Or debating in Spanish with a scholar, necromancer scholar. I don't even know what that means. Frost mage, for example, or whatever, right? Like you can do crazy things, which is unheard of. Because now with a podcast feature, you could have creative voices speaking with each other in these languages, which is insane, right? Not just in English, but other languages as well. And this is important because see, oftentimes what will happen, you go to my podcast, you're going to create my podcast, you go to voices. Let's say you're going to go to CloneVoices. You're going to have like one voice of yours or like maybe a couple, right? Like, I want to create a podcast. I don't even have any voices to create. What am I going to do? Well, the other way then is you just go public library. Any one of these you can be having a conversation with, right? And it opens up a lot more creativity. And similarly, it's going to make things a lot more interesting as well, because these voices have different tonality, spacing and pacing, let's say, and stuff like that. Okay. So now want to talk about what's coming up, because this is all ready to go now, right? So meaning you go in right now, you can do instant cloning, and the cloning is better now. Once it's cloned, you have this boost similarity ready to go, right? You can start using it now. Okay, that will make your voice sound more like you, much better and stuff like that. It's an optional feature, so you can uncheck it as well if you like the prior voice cloning thing when we went live. Up to you. But generally, this will help you with the similarity, right? And it does all the toggles and other stuff, so you don't have to waste your time trying 100 times. This is good to go, right? So, and then again, it applies for different languages we've done as well. You can play around with it, okay? Now, similarly, in the podcast feature, like I told you, it's ready to go. There's no boost similarity there because it's already good. The algorithm was built from the ground up. Thirdly, like I mentioned, we have audiobooks as well that we've built that you can basically create, ready to go with a lot of characters. You can start using it there. Fourthly, we've added, again, better dubbing. So English to any language is much better now than ever before, okay? You can test it with your English voice and then this, and just make sure that the settings are perfect, right? Like the similarity engine and stuff like that. And then this is selected and stuff, and you can start translating. It'll be much better than before, okay? Thirdly, again, we've done multilingual podcasts as well. With every, so even in the podcast, like I told you, you can use the public library voices. Like all these voices are available for you in multiple languages. Okay, before it was only system voices, right? Meaning like 30 voices or whatever. So in other words, like if you went in here, you selected like in any of these languages, like it would only be these voices, right? These system voices, we named them. Like you see these system voices. Now you can do any one of the public library voices in multiple languages. Okay, like I mentioned. So like even in the podcast, you can go here, you can go here, and you can change the speakers, or you can go back here, select voices, and then you can go in here, public library, and it opens up a whole bunch of voices that you've shared, right? Like you liked to appear in the public library, or even the design voice. Like I did prompt to voice, like I did an old pirate prompt to voice, or angry old pirate voice, or whatever. And then now you can add them into it in multiple languages. Pretty cool. So you have an angry pirate speaking in Spanish or Italian or one of the supported languages. And we're going to keep adding more languages because we have to test with our volunteers first, and they're okay with it. Now, okay, let's write what's next. Okay, what is next coming up? Okay, because this is exciting for us. We are hearing your feedback and stuff. And what's coming up next is what Yash will mention here as well, because we have some really cool things cooking behind the scenes. Yash, go ahead. Yeah.
All right, very excited to share the new next upcoming things. So first of all, hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you can hear me okay. So the next stuff, right, is we have the Create Music version 2 coming with far 10 times better quality, more categories, and more freedom, right? We hear you with the music. Some, you want that quality to be perfect, this and that. We are working on that, and we will be releasing that in the next 48 to in the next couple of days, basically, which is the Create Music version 2. More, much better quality, more realistic quality, more styles, more options, and more genres. Okay, and that's very, very, very powerful, right? Like, early results were amazing. So that's number one. Number two, I see this thing, and I was already thinking about this, is basically we do nursery rhymes, right? Now the question is, nursery rhymes creates nursery rhymes scenes in one style. We want more styles, and we want a ability to automatically, just like how we did with the flip books to video, we want scenes to video for nursery rhymes, with the clone voice and artistly integration, right? That is also coming. That means after those images, you're not confused what to do. Just click all of them, just like how you do with flip books with artistly, and then it will instantly animate those images. Put those images as a video, right, an MP4 format with your rhyme. That's very, very powerful. With more styles, obviously, that one that you said, like, hey, we want watercolor style, we want AAA gaming style, and more styles that you asked for, right? That's second thing. Third thing that I have been thinking about, but that you guys now asked for it, which is very amazing. That means our thought process are very similar, is a language teaching course. That means what would happen if a guy speaks English and your another speaker speaks Spanish? How amazing would that be, right? Coaching, language teaching. So just like a podcast feature, you will be able to pick languages per speaker. You want speaker one to speak in English, but you want speaker two to speak in Spanish or Italian, right? For language speaking courses and stuff like that. That's the number third in the pipeline, right? So those are three major things that I'm super excited about. And the Q4, the Halloween and the Q4 trainings, right? With Clone Voice integration with Artistly and Video Express, how you can maximize and utilize in the real world use cases, right? So those are the four major things that I'm excited about, and I'll be sharing that with you in the coming weeks, coming days. And I just wanted to get ready with that. So it's everything's gonna blow your mind. And also, we hear you. We're also working on multiple languages for audiobook, right? I know that you guys have created the ebook on KDP and all that, the novels and everything. More languages. That support for more languages in audiobooks is also coming. So that's 5 things that are coming for you in the next week, 2 weeks or so. So
yeah, so we're gonna go one by one on this, folks. So the first one will be music, because we hear you. One of the things that came about was, hey, can you create more categories, right? And just trying to clean up some of these things, maybe where I put opera, it doesn't sound like opera, let's say, for example, or funk plus jazz, well, it's sometimes good, whatever. We hear you there. So what happened, just for reference, was when we did the music thing, we didn't expect majority of our users will actually be using it for create music, because when we named it CloneVoice.ai. But then what we did want to do is down the line, right, in the future, start adding music, because it makes more sense. Everything that is audio, you want it to be in Clone Voice, and then eventually you want to integrate that into Video Express to create jingles and videos, or integrate with Artistly for storybooks and narration and stuff. Music makes sense, and so that's the reason why we actually introduced the music feature. And it was more like a V0.5 or whatever, not even a V1, you could say. But we were amazed by our Facebook group community and the YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff, as well. Folks coming in and like, whoa, the music feature, that's the one I really like. Okay, probably a decent chunk, I'd say 40-50% of the people really wanted to use the music feature, which was surprising to us, to be very honest with you, because we didn't expect that kind of demand for the music feature. So that means what happens now? Once we foundationally fixed, let's say, this feature, which was the boost similarity, which was one key foundational thing. How do you make it sound like me? Second thing you're going to do is multilingual, right? Translation, make it better, which we did. And also another foundational was, I want to create podcasts in multiple languages. languages, which we did, which was only English before. Multiple speakers, only 2, I want 4 speakers. So it's more natural. We've done that and made it better as well across the board. You saw the demos. The next stage, obviously, now is once we've cracked the foundational features, is to add more languages, of course. So, like, I'm seeing right here in these comments, hey, I can help with Afrikaans, for example. I can help with Brazilian Portuguese. I can help with Bulgarian, as an example, right? So, for those of you folks, please, okay, email our support team here and say you want to be one of the volunteers. We'll make it worth your while to spend that couple of hours or whatever to give your feedback, because the idea is that's the only way we can add them in, because it'll help you understand, right? When we bring a translator and we pay the money, it's not the same effect as somebody using the application, right? So that's the reason why we're going to take your feedback to do so. So please do message us there and say I want to be a volunteer in this language. If we didn't already pick somebody from our team, from our customers like yourself who volunteered, definitely we'll be happy to do so. It just needs a little bit of your time, and of course it benefits you. It also benefits us because we can make a better application. So fair. So next logical step is more languages here, right? After that, our team is simultaneously working on Create Music. This is going to be the next big update. It's going to be coming up very soon, right? We're going to say, normally I would give you it's going to come tomorrow, but just to be clear, because if sometimes weekends come in, people are not paying attention on the weekends and all that kind of stuff, we'll just stay a few days, okay? That'll be as early as 48 hours from now, or as early as 36 hours, whatever. But just watch out. The next major update is going to be Create Music. Will be way better than what it is right now. And we're going to fix some of the bugs that people weren't facing, which was sometimes the audio might get cut off. A couple of words might not be sang, right? When you're singing, it might miss a couple of the lyrics, for example. We hear you. Sometimes what happens with this AI thing is that it hallucinates. So we fixed that. We saw some edge cases there, like 2% of the people are having some things like that. So we're fixing all those things. And that's going to be released V2 of Create Music. We're going to still keep V1 for those who like using it. But V2 will be dramatically better. And now, once we've done that, right, let's just, Yash mentioned the other things that we're working on as well, like the language translation and the artist integration. We're working on it to make it even better and stuff. What's the next natural stage, which we're going to work on the next coming weeks and stuff? Music in other languages, correct? So this also is another reason why we need volunteers, because see, if we are saying we're going to create pop songs in, say, German. Well, maybe German pop is a little bit different from American pop, right? In terms of how it is. Maybe the category name needs to be changed. So you will need some feedback there, right? So again, volunteers will be very useful here as well. So again, any help we can get there in giving us feedback. What is popular in Germany? What type of music, right? Please give us some examples and stuff. What is popular in France? What kind of romantic music out there in France is more popular? Stuff like that. Okay. So then currently, as I told you, we have about 30 people we're working with right now, customers in different languages and accents and stuff like that. So any help from you to contribute, any little time you can invest with us. How we're doing it is we have a Facebook group, and some people who don't have a Facebook account and stuff like that, we are okay to even work with on WhatsApp and stuff like that. In Facebook Messenger, we're creating a group with our engineers, our machine learning people, Yash, me and stuff, and then we're asking feedback, and then you can just say, hey, this sucks, or hey, I would suggest this type of music or whatever is good, and that will help us improve things, right? This is going to be the next major thing. Okay, we're going to make multilingual music possible for you. We're going to start off with some smaller language like French maybe first. We're going to start next with German, maybe, some of the European languages, and then we're going to go into other categories because, again, we want to make sure that we respect the culture of your location. So let's say you're Brazilian and your Brazilian Portuguese has a specific type of pop, hip hop, and certain types of styles. We don't want to name it like Brazilian Portuguese opera, and it has nothing to reference to Brazilian Portuguese. We want to respect your traditions, culture, and how you name things maybe in Brazilian Portuguese or in German and stuff like that. So we need your feedback to ensure that we do it properly, okay? We don't want to make a mockery of the feature, right? Obviously in your language. So that is the major reason why it's going to take a little bit longer than expected to make sure we're perfected, but you'll be seeing these rolled out soon, okay? I just want to be very clear on that aspect. All right, now the next thing as well we wanted to mention here is once we are we're working on this stuff, we're also going to be streamlining the integrations a lot more. What does that mean? Yash was mentioning about artistry. So we're going to be streamlining the storybooks functionality and the songs functionality and stuff like that. Like for example, I've seen some points rare, like hip hop nursery rhymes. Very interesting concept. Okay. So again, that's something that we've not even heard about before. So couple of points like these. Okay. So once we kind of start working on artistic integrations and nursery rhymes, then you want to do storybook creation, storybook videos, narrations and stuff. We with the songs and jingles and stuff like that, we're going to strengthen those and make better integrations with other applications of ours, right? That way, what's going to happen then is you have everything in the ecosystem that you will ever need to turn this music into a video, right? Turn the audios and podcasts you're making into video, let's say. Turn the voices that you're making into narration storybooks and stuff like that, right? So you're not stuck to one modality, but use an array of our applications to be able to do so. And of course, when you go into your application, CloneVoice.ai, you go into this support, and this is the tutorials, right? You go click on this tutorials tab here, you will see like this tutorials tab here. You can go in and you've added all the integration videos and stuff. And sorry, that's support. This is tutorials, my bad. The question mark one is the tutorials, like this one right here at the top. So and just hover over it, click on tutorials, and we made everything step by step, because sometimes I see people joining in late and they'll be like, well, just give me a step-by-step tutorial, and I don't want to watch like a live stream, which is more Q&A based, right? So they might go longer than usual. So like, how do I change my voice? Okay, this is the tutorial on that, right? How do I dub my voice in multiple languages? Tutorial in that, right? Step by step, like a few minutes. You can go watch it whenever. How do I use custom prompt to voice design? And how do I do that, right? And of course, same way, like if you scroll down, we've done the integration, how to integrate CloneVoice into Artistry. So, you don't have to watch like an hour webinar or live stream like this to figure it out. Just watch this in the tutorials page integration section. It covers that. Same thing here. How do you do video express artist and CloneVoice integration? This is where you can create cartoon character videos and stories with jingles and videos and stuff. Pretty cool. How you use Artistry's true power of generating consistent character storybooks and narrations. How do you bring those narrative characters to life with animated Disney Pixar style videos, let's say? And then how do you create the songs that you create within CloneVoice AI and bring them all together and sync it perfectly into a beautiful video, right? Like if you watch this video as an example, it's me speaking here. I'll just show you here real quick, right? So how do you create like demos like we've shown here, right? Within the application, right? Of a song being played, and then now again, music syncing to the whole character animation and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So like basic idea here of what we are trying to achieve. How do you do it? How do you integrate the applications together? You see my point, right? Step by step, easy. You can go and then watch it. And then all the masterclass trainings that I'm talking about right now, all of the replays are also up right here. Every single one of them you can watch here as well to your heart's desire. And in this particular case, I just wanted to mention here, we have for most of these tutorials, you see this audio track here. So I want to mention this as well. You see this audio track. You can actually dub this tutorial in your language, like French, German, Spanish, and these 20 or 25 languages that it supports. So that means it will have me speak with perfect sync in this, training you in that language, how to do it. If your English is not your first language, you want to go through these steps in your language, just change the language here, English to anything else, and it'll have me speak in that tutorial and in different language. Again, with everything. See this again, this video as well. I believe this one supports it as well. Yeah, you see this? Again, audio track gets changed into these languages. And then same thing with any one of these tutorials, okay? Same logic applies here as well. Again, audio track and which languages as well here, okay? So that way, sometimes these live streams, YouTube doesn't allow us to translate them in another language. The technology doesn't exist yet. But these videos that we've pre-shot tutorials, YouTube does allow you to, select this here and dub it into another language, okay? This is there for your benefit in case English is not your first language and you speak some other language and you want the tutorials to be spoken in your language, definitely do so, okay? Okay, this is there for your convenience. And of course, there is that inner circle group, the YouTube channel links, and app logging links as well. You can watch later on. All right. Now, I'm seeing some questions as well that you have here. So let's kind of run through them, answering all the topics you have. So one of the things I wanted to mention as well is, we're doing a lot of pace of updates, right? So let's say, for example, like, what happens as an example is, like, right now we are pushing updates every week. Okay. So like every week, every 1 week, you'll see an update in our applications. Like Talking Photos V3 is coming up, right? In the next couple of weeks to 3 weeks or so, depending on how quickly you can get it out there, because the focus will be CloneVoice integration as well for that, right? Which is going to be amazing. And the point is, when you make so many updates, it's very hard to keep track of them, right? Sometimes. So all I wanted to explain to you here is these live streams, we do it so that you can come once a week. We do it on Fridays, and you can get the latest updates we're making, keep a track of it. If you cannot join in, watch the replay on YouTube and stuff. That's one thing. You can have your questions answered and stuff. The second thing is, the other thing that we are trying to make you understand is, there's two types of updates, right? One is we're just fixing major bugs or quality of life stuff, right? So let's say, for example, what is a new feature, what is like existing. Let's say, for example, before like the dubbing was not perfect, right? So let's say, for example, you had to create audio, you did English, and then you translate to another language. The similarity doesn't sound like you as much, or whatever the issue was. We fixed that. That's not a new feature per se, right? But the similarity thing is a new feature we've added in, correct? So what our plan is we're going to start doing some notifications within the application as well, slowly, so you can keep track of it. We do that for Artistly, for example, right? And then the other thing we also wanted to kind of mention here is that if you ever mention a bug in the YouTube stream like this right here, or you mention in our Facebook group, for example, like in a group here, like any bugs and stuff that you mention here or whatever, no problems, right? Like we do keep note of it. We always have our team members either tagging me, say anybody in our team, whatever it might be, or the developers even, right? And then we will basically be on top of these things that we fix. So in other times, what I'm trying to explain to you is we're kind of slowly moving away from a roadmap concept in a way when it comes to development, which we feel is very antiquated, because the reason why I'm trying to tell you is, if we put this feature into our roadmap, right, we'll say, well, we're going to do it Q1 2026, 27, whatever. And you're like, okay, it's coming. But then what am I going to do with the application right now? Like it's a critical feature for me. So how we're doing it right now is, look, we'll get the community feedback and we'll be like, okay, how many people does it impact? How many people are complaining about this bug, this feature, whatever? And then you will just expedite that thing so that instead of it being a Q4, Q3, Q1, whatever, nonsensical thing, instead of be like, okay, can we do this tomorrow? Can we do it? Whatever, because majority of people are having this issue, let's fix this. And so what we're trying to find is that we're doing it more on the community basis, like what you're posting here in the chat. We keep note of these. Yash is right now taking note of all the feature requests that are being answered here. Second thing is like, as well as our Facebook group community, somebody's always monitoring it in our groups and like always taking note of your feedback. So that way what happens is, sometimes, you're like not happy about something, you'll probably have that fixed by the time you log in the very next time. Instead of us like creating even a live stream many times to explain it, every little detail or stuff that we fixed, it's just, it's working, right? And the same thing, what we're going to do is we're going to just make sure we notify any major stuff that we're doing in the application. So you may not have to even attend these live, but the most important reason why you want to come here is that time is worthwhile for you when you're trying to have some of these things that you want. And I'm here, Yash is here, our team is here all the time, and we're always hearing your feedback and making things better and better and better, right? So hope that is clear. Okay, just trying to mention here as well. Now the other thing that I wanted to mention as well is like some points like these, right? This is why we do live streams. Can we create instrumentals is a question. Very fair question, right? That's why you want to come in live, because see, when you see here, I'm explaining this question, right? So best video creator was a question, right? So you see this little tab right here, create SFX, that always existed. This feature existed all the time since like when we went live. But a lot of people don't know that create SFX is the instrumental music, right? So There we go. This is the thing. This will create the instrumentals. Okay. This is not the create music. This is the instrumental. Okay. You can just give it a prompt, like epic orchestral music, guitar music, or violin music, whatever, right? You can type in and you can use this little screen to enhance the prompt. Like you can say, epic violin corporate music or something, right? And then click enhance. And then it'll generate us the enhance. You see, soaring string swell or whatever. I don't even know what that is. And then this is the prompt it's going to generate. And then it'll now create the violin music for a corporate demo or corporate presentation or whatever it might be. Okay. So this is why we do these live streams, because sometimes we'll cover the stuff you already covered in the past, but it'll help you because I'm seeing your feedback and then we can help you right away. So now you don't have to go and scroll through the Facebook group, or you don't have to go through like the tutorial section to figure out, okay, how do I do instrumentals? You see, this is the major reason. And sometimes it's repetitive. People will say, well, it was a 1.5 hour, 2 hour live stream. Can you make it shorter? Well, the shorter ones are in the tutorials tab here. They're like a few minutes long for specific tutorials. They can go watch it. But this is more to answer your questions and stuff like that. Okay. So just wanted to be very clear on that. Okay. So, and the other thing as well that I wanted to mention here is that just understand that like some of these things where we're doing with AI, the very first time, it may not be perfect. Okay. This is the reason why I wanted to mention we're doing it based on community feedback, right? Like as an example, when we do create music V2, okay, we've tested it as much as we could across all the categories that we are going to be adding, correct? So sometimes there'll be some edge cases, right? Edge cases meaning like, oh, one word, the song, the pronunciation was off, or let's say, for example, I'm trying to paste my own lyrics in the customs tab, and that thing is not that good, as an example, right? In some cases like this, what happens is because of AI being hallucinatory by design, it's never going to be 100% perfect. We have to go in and train the AI and fine tune it to fix those like last 1% or so, okay? And that's the nature of AI, all right? It's like if I open ChatGPT, right? And like I open up, I have ChatGPT here, as you can see here. Like what I can do is like it generated this. Every time I ask it to do the same exact thing, it'll generate a slightly different outcome, correct? In this case, in Spanish, whatever it wrote. Next time, it's going to write slightly different. That is how the AI systems work today, and they'll only continue working, okay? Because AI is trained on this model called the transformer model, which is what powers ChatGPT and stuff, and another one called diffusion model. Okay, I'm just trying to explain this to you, not to bore you, but just so you to understand, have realistic expectations on a lot of the AI stuff. Okay, what this is these two are the foundations of AI. Whether it's Google, whether it's OpenAI, whether it's us or anybody, what that means, in other words, is that every time, right, you try to ask a question or generate a music file or generate an audio or whatever, every time you prompt it for something, it's going to be slightly unique. Okay. That is the nature of it. So sometimes there's a good thing, like for copywriting as an example, or trying to create videos, for example. Every time it being unique means, or creating, let's say in this case, music or whatever, it's good because now you get unique variety of creative outputs, correct? But sometimes it's not good, like cloning your voice. You don't want that voice to sound different from you every time, right? Same thing like you speaking in a dubbed voice, not taking the accent, generating a new accent every single time, right? So that is the reason why when you try to create a new feature, some level of patience is required from our end and your end as well, please, to give us feedback. This category is not good. This is the issue, right? You can even send it to our support team. Like when I go to my audios here, every single file has this ID, project ID. You just copy this and send it to our team. It'll be able to troubleshoot things much easier, right? And that is the only way AI development will go to the next level. And that is the only way with human feedback, like you folks and with people who are using the application, giving edge cases and stuff to help us be better. This is the future, whether we like it or not. That is the reality of AI, right? 99%, it's going to be great. The last 1%, it might slightly hallucinate, might slightly mispronounce a word or letter, on and off, especially for languages and stuff like that. It's not going to be right away good. What you can do it though is with feedback, you can actually tune it, optimize it a little bit, right? Like how you would tune a car, right? How you can tune a vehicle, or how you tune a guitar, right? To play it in a certain way. Same concept. So then what happens is after 3 or 4 days of us fine tuning and optimizing things, it'll be perfect. That issue will never arise again. As we deal with like 50, 100 of such issues, it's going to get better and better and better with time. And then the final output means that it's all the edge cases are sorted. Maybe not millions of variations, but the 10,000 most common ones, or 1,000 common ones people deal with, right? Because see what happens, right? You have to understand, when people come here, choose instant, we don't know what voice is being uploaded here. You see what I'm saying? It's very difficult for us to understand what nuances were taken in and stuff. It's literally free for all, right? You get my point. It's a free for all. So we gotta account for certain things. So when you give us the data and as much information as possible, like you go in and you go into like my audios and you give us the ID here and some information to help us troubleshoot things, okay? And that will also help us make things better and better. And oftentimes people ask us like, hey, I sent a support ticket about this issue and you haven't gotten back to us. It's because we're fixing it. And we're fixing it in such a way where it'll apply to everybody, not just you, right? Going forward. So that's the same reality of the situation, right? So just wanted to explain that, because that means, in other words, the way we used to develop software, the way we used to update things and stuff, not just us, but everybody, has changed dramatically because of this. Right? Because at the end of the day, you have to update things every week. When you update things every week, things might not be as good. So for example, when we do the create music, we do V2, we'll keep V1 because some people might be liking the kids rhymes setting in V1 specifically or something, right? I don't know. So we'll keep it, but slowly the idea will be that the V2 will be better and then we'll push you into that direction. So sometimes people will say, well, there's too many toggles, too many features, but understand this is because of that reason, right? It's not easy for us to take the best things about kids rhymes from V1 into V2. Because V2 is a completely different algorithm, completely different workflow, completely different setup that we did. So that means that we cannot take the best elements of V1 and put to V2. It's more like V2 is a completely brand new vehicle. It will have its own pros and cons. It will be faster, let's say, more elegant. But at the same time, maybe you like the slowness of the classic, right? So we'll keep the classic as well. Okay, just wanted to explain this because there's a constant feedback we get for artistry. Hey, there's 100 features. Can you streamline it? Because when you're dealing with languages, different countries, tens of thousands of people, we just want to make sure that we'll always keep the original V1 for those who like it, and V2 will be for those who with better algorithms and stuff. Okay, it's just the way AI works, unfortunately. And as we optimize and to get better, we'll keep doing things better and better. Okay. So now, so the other question I'm seeing here is, what is the merge icon in my audio? So good question. So this is basically where, let's say, you wanted to merge two things, right? Like to create longer length audio. That's what the merge is. So how it works is like very simple. You click on the merge button here, okay? And then it'll create a checkbox. So let's say, for example, I want to clone this. Merge this and this, the AI productivity thing, and then this copy of AI or faux. You know how it says here, like here, confirm. You want to merge it, and then you can just now click on confirm. And then what it's going to do is it's going to do the merged audio of these two. Especially useful if you're trying to create a podcast in chapters. Maybe you want to continue it forward, especially for audiobooks as well. Let's say you want to merge multiple audiobooks together and stuff like that. See, every decision that we make is for a purpose, right? To make sure that, let's say, for example, it's more easy, like fast for you to use. Let's say, for example, when you go into, let's say, audiobooks, right? Create audiobook. We have 30,000 characters. Nothing stops us making 300,000. The issue, though, is speed, right? Generation speed. If somebody has to wait for 4 hours to generate one book and this is an issue and they have to fix it, it's going to take a lot longer now to fix it. So we've made these design choices to make sure it's like a 15-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute thing for it to generate. So it's reasonable, right? You can come back, any issue, you can edit it and generate in one sitting, as opposed to waiting for 3, 4, 5 hours and now going back and editing it. So the merge function helps you with that scenario effectively, okay? So what you'll do is you're going to go into my audios and you can merge them together. You see this is the merge audio. Like if you download it real quick, you will see what I'm talking about. So it'll make one big 24-minute file, as you can see here on the bottom right, rather than like 10 minutes or whatever. It allows you to merge multiple stuff. That's why we did it here, okay? And same thing will work for music or anything you wanted to merge effectively. It'll help you with that, okay? That's hopefully that answered your question there. Now, the other thing as well is the main thing that I want to mention here is that if you ever suggested our support team anything, don't worry, it reached anybody who's the key player in the team, right? Me, Sid, Ali, or even the developers and stuff. It just maybe we are not prioritizing it right now because we are maybe dealing with 10 other stuff we want to do right away. But we will get to your stuff, okay? It's not that we haven't. And sometimes, when you fix one issue, it fixes everything. Like as an example, the create audio boost similarity thing applies for every language now, right? That we support. So let's say, for example, it was an issue with Spanish as an example. There's two issues now, right? Hey, my Spanish clone doesn't sound like me. My English clone doesn't sound like me. Third, my British accent is not being accounted for. My Australian accent doesn't sound like Australian. It sorts all those 5 issues in one shot, right? This one feature. You see what I'm saying? So that's how we are trying to treat these things as, okay? So you get the idea here, all right? Now, the other question is the question was about our affiliate program. Yeah, please give us some time. We're going to be rolling it out soon as well for those who will be giving me information on this and stuff like as well. The main reason why we have to delay it a little bit is we want to sort out all the edge cases, add all the best features we can add and stuff, and put all our resources there rather than focus on the affiliate program right away, which doesn't make any sense for us. So last about 12 days or so, we've been completely focused on this as well. All right. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention here, and of course you can keep posting your questions in here as well, is if you go into the main application website, right, CloneVoice.ai, right? So who here has not gotten CloneVoice.ai? Let me know in the chat box, please. Who here hasn't gotten CloneVoice.ai just yet? Let me know, because if you haven't, please understand that our launch special, we're going to be ending it any minute now. We're going to have countdown timers and stuff. So what that means, in other words, is the bonuses that we've offered stuff will be gone as we know it. The second thing is, if you get in later on, you're not going to get some of the trainings we've done as a part of the integrations that we've done with CloneVoice and Video Express, CloneVoice and Artistly and stuff. The integrations might be more delayed for people who get later as well. And of course, the price. The price will go up quite a bit, right? So if you go into the CloneVoice main website, you'll see, right, the discount coupon. You see this right here. That will probably be eliminated substantially, okay? I just want to make sure you understand, all right? Now, again, whether you want to get it or not, it's up to you. The point is that at the end of the day, you saw the demos, right? You saw me go through 11 labs and show you the comparison video and be as transparent as possible, because at the end of the day, you have to understand that there's always going to be 2 players in any industry. There'll be a Coca-Cola, there'll be a Pepsi. In this particular case, the best example could be 11 Labs and CloneVoice, because they're all in the audio space, right? It'll be unfair to compare it with say Video Express and CloneVoice. Makes no sense, right? As an example. So, or let's say Google VO3 to let's say CloneVoice, because that's a video generation tool. So it'll be more comparative to Video Express, for example, right? Not so much CloneVoice.ai. So again, as I mentioned before, the price will go up. So if you haven't already, go to CloneVoice.ai and grab it. It will be the lowest price we'll ever offer it for. And of course, all the bonuses we've offered, like the integrations and stuff like that, to ensure, the idea with integrations, right? When people come to our website, they will see a video like this. They will see, let's say, for example, demos, right? Like these, right? Like these types of demos and stuff. The idea is, when we say integrations, we're solving the number one issue people ask us anyways, which is, how do you do these demos? What software did you use? It's in our own ecosystem, right? It's going to be either Video Express, it's going to be either Artistly for storybooks and images and stuff like that, design elements. And thirdly, it's going to be Talking Photos for lip sync in particular, longer length, right? So that's what Talking Photos V3 with the update coming up, right? Very soon. We're actively working on it. It's going to be here very soon. And we're saying 3 weeks, but just you can do the math, but when it comes, it'll be worth the wait, right? Because all the stuff you're talking about here when it comes to lip sync, singing, and all that stuff, like this one right here and stuff, those are the things that it allows you to do talking photos at this level of quality as well, of course. And that's, as a talking photos customer, you're going to get that update for free as you've gotten the prior updates, as this Clone Voice updates we made is free, as Video Express folks got Video Express V2 and other updates as well, right? As we're making it for free. And as I just want to be clear so you understand, if you've not gotten Clone Voice yet, okay, if you've not gotten it yet, yeah, like you see, right? Not yet, not yet. I did not get it yet. You see here. Now, see, look, it's very simple, right? At the end of the day, yeah, the countdown timer, whatever, like, yeah, you can now go get it. The price is increasing and all that. It's okay. But the key point I wanted to mention here is that every dollar we make, we've been reinvesting back in making updates to our other applications and as well as CloneVoice and the integrations we've been making, correct? So that way, what's going to happen ultimately is you're going to have the best suite of tools you're going to have for any use case, whether it's audio, music, video, lip sync, singing, lip sync, you get the point, right? Every single demo that you see here, stuff you can recreate in any one of our applications. Now, that effectively means, okay, just want to be sure you understand, we are the last company left, okay, last one. There's not any other, okay? I'm telling you from 15 years of experience here, okay? Last one left, still doing, right, one-time payment deals, right, with free updates going on for the last years and years and years. Like Artistly, as an example, had 6 version updates in the last 2.5 years or so. So meaning you bought it 2.5 years ago to today, it's gotten 6 updates for free, right? Video Express has gotten 2 version updates. Another one is going to be coming up soon. Maybe not version 3, but 2.5 or something, right? You get the point. So that update is also free for existing users. Same thing at CloneVoice. All the updates I mentioned today is free. The music one, let's say, for example, I showed you this, right? Multilingual music is something our team is working on. When we release that update, it's going to be free as well for you as a CloneVoice customer. You got in today, you're going to get that update for free even months from now, right? Now, we're the last company who still does that. Every other company does it 2 ways, okay? Everyone where they're soft, let's say, okay? Because there'll be some exceptions and they'll go out of business after 6 months or 1 year or whatever, right? So the idea here is that, right, companies will do it 2 ways, right? One way they will do it is they will say, okay, we're going to give you 1 year worth of updates, right? Let me actually even do it. So 1 year, right, updates. So that means after year 1, if you want version 2, you got to pay a maintenance fee or something like that, right? You got to pay another fee for another year and stuff. Very common, even though it might be claimed it's a one-time payment deal, whatever, the next update after the year or year and a half or whatever the period of time is, you got to pay extra for it. We've never done that. Just be clear. The second type of company is like your 11 Labs and stuff, like you can go straight up. It's going to be a recurring subscription, right? Whether it's $99, they will say it's $11, but it's actually for the first 1 month, whatever it is. Because the idea here is these companies have to make recurring revenue to basically show their investors that they have recurring revenue. And then down the line, what they will do is they will say, look, you have this free plan, we're going to remove this. The starter plan, price goes up. This one goes up because we want to focus on the enterprise folks, especially when they try to do an IPO or they're trying to raise more money in the next rounds and stuff like that, right? Very common. Cannot blame them. The way is they have to focus on the enterprise clients, the medium-sized clients, not the small businesses or even folks like you, right? Trying to do for a YouTube channel or trying to do for your own use case, for your own brand or business and stuff like that. So basically, it only means that the price will go up, not down. If you have been familiar, just to understand, you can test this right now, right? So Adobe, if you remember many years ago, Photoshop used to be, for the version of it, you could pay once and you get Photoshop, right? Microsoft Word and stuff. They moved into subscription pricing, right? Increases chart, right? You can check it, right? Adobe pricing. So you see this, right? Adobe subscription prices increased from 2024 to 2025. It's significant changes. Photography plan increased from $9.99 to $14.99 for monthly billing, right? And, they created this creative cloud plan and they kind of basically made everything more expensive, right? Again, you'll see this. Adobe is raising their prices again, right? Adobe demands 50% more money, right? Whatever. the point is that that's the other approach. They have to. What can they do, right? Like, I mean, at a certain point, you're going to peak the number of users. You got to show your investors that you're able to make more money, and on, right? So what I'm trying to say is that we are the last company which still does what we do, which is, hey, your updates are free. We're not charging any monthly subscriptions. When you do version 2, version 3 and stuff, that's free. When you do integration between our ecosystem and stuff like that, that's free for you so that you can do everything as you desire and stuff like that. And then at the end of the day, the value is there because as time goes on, effectively, there's no time pressure for you. So you're not going and sitting there saying, I didn't even use the application this month and I still got billed $24 or $30 or $50 or whatever it is. And, I'm stressed out. I'm just going to cancel the subscription. The problem with canceling these subscriptions is they'll delete all the data and you can't rejoin and there's all these other issues, right? And so maybe you only use the application, whether it's CloneVoice or Artistly or Video Express or Talking Photos or whatever, maybe you use them 3 or 4 times a week. Some weeks you don't even use it. Some weeks you use more often, right? So in that kind of case, when there's no pressure on your neck where you have to use it because the monthly subscriptions will keep adding up, that alone makes you be a little bit less stress-free, right? You're able to use it with peace of mind. And that's been our goal, right? And people always ask us, and that's what I wanted to mention here in this live stream is, hey, how do you sustain this? So the way I want you to understand when it comes to sustaining, see here, this group right here, when we started last year or so, this group right here, we don't even advertise it much. This group was about, I think, 25, 29, 30,000 people, right? So in the last, whatever, year or so, it's almost 75,000, right? We have another group for Artistly customers. For those, this was actually created by the community. It was like an official group, but we even just for fun, we had it 10,800 in just the last, I think, 3 months or so, 4 months, something like that. Now, the point I'm making is, right, these are folks just like you, customers of ours, coming into the community, suggesting stuff, and we're improving it based on your feedback and stuff like that. You can hear your frustrations and we hear you, stuff like that, right? What's happening is, every time we get the community to grow, what happens is that's $1 extra we have to spend less in order to reach customers, correct? So let's say an Artistly customer would come in here. They're like, oh, wow, Artistly is such a great product. There's a lot of members in this group and stuff like that. Great, I'm going to buy Video Express. I'm going to buy CloneVoice.ai, right? So what happens now, we can invest all the money into the product development rather than marketing. Right? So what happens with these other companies, they'll spend about, let's say, 50% of their budget on advertising and customer acquisition, influencer marketing and stuff. The other 30% on engineering and all that kind of stuff, the rest for whatever costs, right? So what we will do is we'll spend 80%, 90% of the money into engineering resources, right? Development, updates and stuff like that. And as little as possible in marketing. We do spend a lot on marketing, but the goal is to reduce it as much as possible so that we can spend more in the development process, right? So what happens is down the line, as this group keeps increasing, we have a higher distribution and higher reach. What that means, in other words, is that's $1 less or a percentage we are spending on advertising. So effectively, we can pass on the savings to you, right? So in other words, people were asking us, for CloneVoice.ai, we haven't spent in advertising to acquire a customer of CloneVoice so far, right? So many thousands of you have gotten CloneVoice because you've trusted in us. You've been patient with as we've been rolling out these updates and stuff like we've done so far that I mentioned. So in other words, because we didn't spend any money on advertising, every update that we made, we've spent 100% of the money we made with CloneVoice into infrastructure updates, into development, R&D, engineering resources and stuff, which is only beneficial for you because you're buying the tool because you want it to get updated, you want it to have the features you want, and then make it as best as possible in the industry, right? Comparatively. So you can only do that as long as we keep getting word of mouth, new customers coming in. And of course, the biggest factor being, as long as we can put vast majority of our revenue into engineering resources. Because what's going to happen down the line, right? How can Adobe be so confident and raise their prices up like this? Because at a certain point, they became a monopoly in their industry, right? There was no second product like an Artistly to compare against an Adobe, right? Same thing with right now. What's going to happen in the next, right now, there's 20 voice cloning applications, let's say, right? 20 voice design application, 20 music generators or whatever. There'll only be one left, right? In the recurring subscription space slash higher end enterprise space or whatever we call it. And there'll be comparison with CloneVoice. At that point, we can raise our price. It's not going to go up for you because you already got in, your grandfather in. For everybody else, it's going to go up and they'll happily pay it because there's only two comparisons then, right? There's one and then the other. And if all things being equal and the price is slightly different, but the support is better for the lower price. And let's say, like as an example, you have Walmart and you have Costco. You have anybody, right? Why would somebody go to Costco when they can get something in Walmart? Well, Costco will give you higher volume of the same good for cheaper slightly, right? So you buy more in bulk, you're going to get better. The business model of Costco has been doing well because that is the best way to do it, right? So same logic applies here, right? So what's going to happen here is that, as we keep developing and making things better and better, at a certain point, people will say, look, CloneVoice is as good as 11 labs. Maybe one or two features are not there. They're going to add it up for sure. I'm excited about that. And secondly, they listen to the community. They have a great community feedback. They always hear me, I air my frustration. Somebody is out there to basically hear me out and fix things, while I cannot do that for other platforms, right? Because they are behind a corporation wheel. I can't even get any feedback. I email their support team. They say it's some issue with me or whatever, and I never have somebody to get hold of, correct? So if that is the case, it's a value proposition is very clear. We double the price of CloneVoice. We add a subscription plan or stuff for new customers down the line. It's going to be a straightforward setup, right? And that's how we're going to keep growing. And you will benefit it because you came in the early stages. You were an early adopter, let's say, right? And this AI boom is going to continue for another 10 years for sure. So you're going to ride along with us, right? Effectively. So that's the goal here, effectively. All right. So Yash, I'm going to bring you on here. If you saw any questions, you can kind of answer them, and then we'll call it a day because people can watch the replay later on.
Yep. Nope. Basically, a couple of questions that I've seen and I want to address them is language consideration. The other languages, yes, we will be once all these next things that we just mentioned in the pipeline, the create music V2, the artistry and clone voice, nursery rhyme integrations, audiobooks in multiple languages. Definitely, I'll be personally connecting with you guys specifically for the languages that are not available. How can we do that and stuff like that? And that's the thing, music, that's all people say. And a lot of people, one is out of the context, is people are saying is, can they buy our stock?
Okay, that's another discussion altogether. We'll deal with that later on in the other discussions. But yeah, so in terms of like integrations and stuff, there were questions on like, can Doodle Maker be integrated and some of our other applications? So the way we wanted to structure it is based on the feedback and demand, right? Not that we don't want to do it. So it's like this, right? So for example, the number one biggest request was Artistly, Video Express, and Talking Photos. Why? Because if you come into our CloneVoice's main website, all the demos that you see can be created by one of those applications. If not today, in the future for sure, correct? Because the technology was built that way. Then we're going to obviously want to do it in HumanPal. And then after that, probably will be Doodle Maker, depending on like feedback and requests and stuff. It's not like we don't want to do it. It's a question of like resources, how much time you put it in and stuff. So as long as a lot of people want something, of course, we're going to hear you and we're going to be able to do that, right? And then the final thing again that I wanted to mention here along with this is we are taking your feedback in. It doesn't mean there's a right way to do it or wrong way to do it, right? Or your request is beneath somebody or that somebody gets priority. The only idea here is speed. Correct? So if somebody asks us, hey, look, how did you create this video? How did you go create this owl speaking video, right? How did you create this type of video to show the demos here, right? We want to prioritize that because that's probably what 99% of the people want us to show as a demo. Because when you clone a voice, can you do a video with it as well? How? Right? When we showcase something, we are drinking our own Kool-Aid, I keep saying, right? What does that mean? So we do our own demos. We actually spend money on advertising. We're always testing things and tweaking things in our own business, right? So in other words, what happens is we're learning as we go along. So when somebody asks us that, okay, interesting. So we did that internally. Let's implement that as well into one of our applications, right? Sometimes these features. So that's the major goal always. Where can we get the most number of users to kind of use something, and where are the feedback coming in from our community, and then we can implement it. Same applies for languages. It's not like we don't want to put a language here. It's not that. It's so much so that like when you're working with volunteers, we know that the European languages, obviously, we want to add more of, let's say, or Latin American accents might be more because more of our customers will want that, let's say, right? And so let's say your language was Swahili as an example, African language, right? So let's say maybe only 2 people asked us about that. Obviously, we're going to have to prioritize some other languages above that, right? It's not that we're not going to get there. Eventually, we're going to get there. The other cool thing is if volunteers suggest us, hey, we will help you with that, and then we couldn't find volunteers in some other language, of course, we're going to prioritize that language over the other, even though maybe you have more users from that, just there's no others to guide us or help us, right? So just generally, I wanted to kind of mention that. All right. Now, again, when it comes to volunteers, do email our support team. So I'll put that up here, support at CloneVoice.ai. That is a support email. You can definitely email our support team there. We'll be happy to help there. The second thing I wanted to mention also here is that the CloneVoice.ai application, if you haven't already, go there right now and get it. If you haven't already gotten it, I mean, if you like, it's just simple, right? If you value the updates we're making, the price we're offering it for, and of course the community and getting on live and answering all your questions and being transparent as possible. We don't censor any posts. If somebody says something is not good, I'm not interested or whatever, it's fine. It's all cool. But you do know that we are transparent as possible, right? We are big boys here, right, and girls in our team. We can take criticism. It's all cool. By the end of the day, the goal will be that if it's a fair criticism, we can improve based on that. We are willing to do that, right? And that will only help us elevate our skills also, right, in terms of updating things and making sure we understand things. And if 100 people request something, let's say, right, like that similarity thing that we came up with, it impacts every user of CloneVoice, right? No matter if they requested it or not, right? So the point becomes that when we implement something like this, we are always thinking about it where, hey, 100 people requested, that means it impacts thousands of people. Therefore, let's figure it out how it would apply for other languages, how it will apply for other things, and then we'll implement it anyway, and it will help you whether you even requested it, right? Similarly, we're always thinking about it in every aspect along these lines. How can we help as many people as possible with these updates, and how can you make the process streamlined? Okay. So anyway, that is basically it for today. We covered a lot of topics. So just to summarize for today so that we can kind of call it a day and you can watch the replay if you came in late, is we made a ton of updates to CloneVoice.ai. If you haven't gotten it already, get it there. The updates are already in your account, so you don't have to wait for them. So one of the major updates is this boost similarity update that we made across the board, which will help you have, even for languages and translation stuff, sound more like you. And by sound more like you, what I mean by that is when you go and clone, right, a voice, let's say you want a boring version of you. You can even record a boring version like, hey, my name is Paul. This is my boring, slow voice. And you can clone it exactly like that by clicking on the boost similarity. Now, you want a more fast-paced version like this. I record or upload. I recommend uploading a file. Hey, this is Paul. I'm super excited to tell you this amazing, cool thing we made for CloneVoice.ai. It's going to sound like that. Okay, you see how I changed the tonality? So one beautiful thing when we allow you to clone as so many voices at once that you can clone in the application is that you can even do tonality-based stuff. Okay, this is different from the stuff that's already in the application. So let's say, for example, you have let's say as an example, I go into my voice here and then I say this right here and say, hey, this is Paul or whatever. And then I go next. This is different from this emotion style, happy, sad, and stuff, because sometimes when you add these emotions, it may not exactly sound like you in a nuanced way, right? So what you can do is you can just clone it in that emotion, for example, right? And it'll sound more and more like you. Similarly, I mentioned we added the audiobook feature, and of course, we're going to do multilingual next. It's only English for now. We're going to add more languages next. We're just getting some final feedback to do so, because when we say 30,000 characters, we don't want to make any small errors with those languages, right? So we're fixing those edge cases before we roll it out, but you can use it in English, longer length. You can use the merge feature, by the way, to merge as well, like multiple audiobooks. You saw this merge feature. You click on it, you can merge multiple audiobooks. Boom, boom, boom. You can add whatever you want, confirm, checkbox, it'll merge it and create one big file. And that's one option. Next, I also mentioned that we have podcasts, multilingual podcasts, with multiple languages, was English only before, and you can do 4 speakers now, not just one or two. It was only two before. The beautiful part is that you can use the system voices like you could before, but you can also now bring in the public library voices and the design voices for the podcast. So you could have an angry elf speaking with a funny werewolf, speaking with a fairy, speaking with a sports news broadcaster or something like that, right? Different voices. And also, what we've done is similarly for languages as well. Like if I put Spanish here, of course, you want to clone your voice in Spanish, but you can use any one of the system voices. It's vastly improved than before, but also the public library voices and also the designed voices that you saw here. Okay. If I'm going too quickly, go watch the replay of this later on. Okay. No worries, where I went much slower. Now, the next thing that we've done here is effectively we've made the dubbing feature really good as well. So if in the English to another language, it's much better now. It'll be more natural sounding. It won't have accents and that sort of thing. It's much better now as well. Okay. Now what's coming up next? Yash mentioned as well, among other things. The big one coming up next, because the other ones will be coming in with time, is the music feature will be Create Music version 2, and that will mean like we're gonna still keep this for those who still like it, but the version 2 will be dramatically better. I mean, really, really good quality music. And we're also fixing some edge cases. So like if there's like a word mispronounced or word missing in the song or whatever for certain cases, especially when you're putting custom in particular like this, we're going to streamline that process as well. Like can make it a little bit easier for you to type in your own lyrics and stuff like that, make it a little bit better user interface, let's say, right? And that's coming up as well next. That will be first. Then after that, what else is coming, Yash? Like the Artistly one and a couple other things you can mention.
Yeah. So after that is nursery to video, nursery rhyme scenes to video, right? Just in the Artistly integration, just like how you do flip books to video, directly integrated, and nursery rhymes in different styles, like watercolor, AAA game style, and different stuffs like that, right? Third thing is multiple languages for audiobooks, right? Right now we
Right now
don't
we don't.
Multilingual. So if you say,
Say,
yeah,
yeah.
your voice is coming back. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So
basically,
basically,
that's the thing,
that's the
right?
thing,
Those
right?
languages. We're gonna have multiple languages for the Create audiobook. Then after that, we're also what we are planning is multiple languages for podcasts in a single podcast for a language teaching, right? So for example, right now it's an English speaking podcast, but what's gonna happen is it's gonna be speaker 1 is speaking English, speaker 2 can speak Hindi, speaker 3 can speak English, or speaker 4 can speak Spanish and stuff like that. We'll have to see how it's gonna plan out how many languages do we support at once. Is it 2? Is it 3? We are planning for 2 initially, but let's see. That's the main goal and that's the main idea. But there are other couple of things specifically for the Q4 training, how to maximize this quarter 4, specifically the Halloween, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, what are the strategies, Christmas, this holiday season specifically, right? Real life use cases, how you can utilize these technology, and then real life, like whether it's a YouTube content, whether it's Etsy, whether it is selling ebooks, storybooks, coaching, or whatever it is. So yeah, it's gonna be very fun. So that's the thing, and that's all from
All
what
from
I
cool.
what I
Yeah, just we'll end it with this one point I wanted to mention, which is a really good question from Joya. She's like, can you offer one-on-one training, mentoring? This would be a per hour price. I'd be happy to pay to get questions answered. Okay. So again, we don't want to take money for this type of stuff. What I would recommend you to do, Joya, is you go join our Facebook group. Okay. We have Artistly one, and then of course our official group here, and you can tag, like when you're writing a post, right? You can just tag at Yash and like this and say, hey, I have a question for you, right? Or Yash will be here, right? And then you can say, hey, I have a question, whatever, and you can ping us, and we'll be happy to talk to you on Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. Of course, we cannot do everybody out there, but happy to help you there. Secondly, you can also mention any one of our team members like Yash or me, and then actually make a post in our group. And then what will happen is we have people in our team right now who are actually monitoring the Facebook group. They will actually send me a message privately, or Yash a message privately, or whoever, and then they will say, hey, we have a message for you, can you please accommodate them or help them out or something like that. All right, so this is the best option I wanted to mention. It's not like I mean, it's not worth our money to just take somebody for an hour or whatever. We can do it for free. It's not a big deal. I just want to make sure that the way we are trying to do is we want to make the best technology out there, right? We just don't want to make the best training course or whatever. We want to give away all our courses for free. We want to give away all our training for free. Okay, that's the goal, because you deserve that, right? I mean, whatever we can help with. Okay, so yes, we do from time to time. We're happy to help out. The only thing we ask though, Joya, in cases like this is if we do get on a call, okay, Yash or me or whoever, we please give us the permission to sometimes post it in our group, okay? Because maybe the questions you have will help 100 other people, right? So we'll just record it and post it so that it'll help. The questions you ask could help the whole community, okay? Because otherwise, it's one-to-one might not be as beneficial. If we have 75,000 people, maybe other people have the same questions as well, okay? So yeah, you can tag me or Yash, definitely Yash for sure, because he'll be able to assist you more. He's more available in specific time zones than me, let's say. And of course, you can tag in our groups and we'll be happy to set up a time or whatever and guide you through it. And of course, the only thing, like I said, we would want is to be able to share that publicly to the group, because then it'll be of value, right? That's like us doing with 100 other people. If 100 people get the benefit, let's say. Yes, you can probably talk a little bit about this. Yes, right? Because I mean, you've done that. We've done that before.
Yeah, so generally what I do is a lot of people get surprised that I generally I just message you on Facebook Messenger, and all these messages. Just this today only, right? I did like 3 or 4 calls, basically, with one of our amazing members, Serena. She was it was like a 7-minute call, just quick call. She was considering how to do like a multiple consistent storybook and stuff like that. So helped her, right? Now what we are planning is, okay, it will be a Google Meets kind of setup where we're gonna record that, so that or we can share it in the group and stuff like that, so that everyone can also learn from other people's mistakes and other people learning. So that was the goal. That's what the thing.
Yeah, and so the best method for this would be from the Facebook Messenger. You're going to connect with them from the group, correct?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Facebook Messenger. I'm gonna message them. Yeah.
Okay, so the first step is join the Facebook group. Second step, tag us, right? Me and Yash. And then you should be good to go. That's all you really need to do. Tag us. First step. Second step is help us out. And that's the group here. As you can see here, the group. I'll post the link as well to the group one more time, so you get the idea here. You see that? That's the group. So pretty straightforward, right? You can tag us here and stuff like that, and we're always monitoring it. Maybe we won't get back to you tomorrow or whatever, but definitely you can set up some time and help you out there. And your questions might be for hundreds of other people as well, right? Obviously. Okay, so that's the goal we are trying to achieve here. All right, so that's pretty much it, folks, for today. So thank you so much for showing up here. You can watch the replay. If we could not cover anything, which there's so many hundreds of comments coming in that case, just please email us at support@clonevoice.ai. I'll leave the link, including the volunteer requests and stuff like that, that message right here. And then we'll be posting consistently in our group. Like, sometimes, we send you 100 emails, right? It's too much for you to handle. But we can post 100 posts in our Facebook group, like update we made today or update we're making tomorrow or whatever. Just keep an eye on these things. And that's the goal here, even, right? To continually keep posting things and help you out as time goes on. Like, for example, you see here, I made that artistly an integration video and posts here, how we did the CloneVoiceAI Video Express and stuff. And then people are like, yeah, so then they made some comments here. We're all constantly checking the feedback and stuff, right? So we can do like every day almost an update like this, right? Every other day or whatever it might be. But if I send you an email every other day, it's too much for you, right? Just a modality shift, let's say, for example. So that's the reason I always say just pay attention to our group, our community. We're always paying attention to it. We're always keeping an eye on it. And of course, our goal is to ensure that no question gets left unanswered. But more importantly, your question has an action plan. That's the bigger point we're aiming for, okay? Where we're aiming to help everybody out. But that said, have a great day everywhere in the world. Have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you next week in the next Friday for the training sessions, but more often in our groups, okay? In our Facebook groups, of course. So if you're not already, just be there. We'll keep sending you notifications and stuff there as we keep posting updates. So have a great internet. I'll talk to you very, very soon. See you, folks.